So, Mark, did you see those pictures of the souvenirs for Elvis at the Westgate back in the 70s? Huge hound dogs, all kinds of records, different posters, and those prices. Oh, those prices.
Pretty cool stuff. The prices, I mean, when you compare it to nowadays, it doesn't seem terrible. Like a poster, $1 then, $10 now. That's kind of where we're at, isn't it? I feel like a poster in Vegas is probably like $20 now.
The giant hound dog, I looked this up, is $35 back then. And we don't know the exact date of the picture, but we know his last performance was in December 1976. So if you take inflation, that $35 hound dog, $185.47 today. Would you pay that?
No.
For Elvis, come on, it's a giant hound dog.
I mean, if you held onto it and saran wrapped it and all that stuff, it's probably worth a ton more than that right now. But I mean, is this the point where we start talking about where Elvis was married or not married in the show?
We'll punt that for next time. So screens are all over Las Vegas now, and that's sort of ubiquitous. Every property has them. But Cosmo was one of the first in their lobby. 2010, they had those screens on those giant pillars, and they've been displaying, different art all since then. And MGM has come in and they're updating this with a new show called Float. And they gave some behind the scenes on how they filmed this. They used 60 different actors all underwater for these scenes. It looks like a really nice upgrade for the Cosmo lobby.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I love like water action sequence type things. So I think I'll really enjoy this when I get a chance to check it out. It just goes to show maybe, MGM won't leave this thing to die on the vine and will spend a little bit of money for it. And last episode or the bonus episode, we talked about how Resorts World doesn't have that flair to it that you're missing, that when you go to Vegas that kind of says you're in Vegas. And I think this is something, along those lines that we're talking about, something that draws you in, something you probably wouldn't see very many other places. So I like it. Kudos to MGM for doing it. And I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, this is designed to kind of buy into the brand. So it seems like Cosmo's doing that where you're living your best life, sort of having your best experience in Vegas when you get there. So it does seem cohesive top to bottom, and that is a cool lobby. I wonder, everybody out there, what you guys think of that lobby. I could see some people not liking it. The screens aren't the highest resolution. That's always been my sort of takeaway, but that's not a complaint at all. I love that they're making it fresh and new. Let me know what you guys think of that lobby. Do you like the screens, or do you like a more traditional lobby like Paris or Venetian with all this over-the-top theming?
I mean, I'm always drawn into the theming for sure, but when you have something to work with and this is what you do, I think they could make it something like Bellagio, going to the gardens and seeing that each season, maybe they change it up more frequently and have that as like a draw, something that people come to check out and see twice a year or whatever it be. I think there's opportunity there.
So speaking of theming, it's the end of an era, Mark. The Dorito chip is coming down at Luxor. This was just a brief moment in time, one that 20 years from now on Twitter or X or whatever social media exists, people will be sharing photos of that time that the Luxor turned into a Dorito chip. R.I.P. Doritos.
Should we say like the sellout of Vegas era where they just, highest bidder gets to put whatever they want on any landmark in Vegas? Cheetos Bridge, a Dorito chip, Luxor. I don't know that there's a worse job in Vegas than peeling that off. I hate peeling stickers off of stuff. I couldn't imagine a big one outside of a pyramid that I got to work through for, several days. Kudos to the people out there that get this done. I would be banging my head against the glass.
Over under, that side of the building stays blank for a month. Or do they just start putting up the next ad or the next thing that they're going to do?
Well, let's go under. I'm going to go under.
They've traditionally left that side blank, so let's hope that they do, because we've had ads all over Luxor for years. Huge Bet MGM ad on the other side, so we'll see. But Las Vegas account had some suggestions. I think they had a Toblerone bar, cheese, watermelon, pizza, things like that. So maybe they're getting to work on what they can do next. But again, 20 years from now, you'll be able to tell your kids, your grandkids, that you saw the Dorito chip on the pyramid, and that's a big deal.
I guess.
So let's move on to this SNL sketch. Shane Gillis was hosting this week, and there's a couple of interesting kind of commercial sketches that came out, including one called Rock Bottom Kings that plays satire with the whole sports betting app industry. Kind of makes fun of the problem gambling thing, and I'm okay with it because it drives attention to it. Overall, a pretty funny piece, though.
It hits home for some people, I'm sure, watching this or that are gamblers, because they've been in that boat or they've been, in this. They're making jokes about situations that you might have been in. So I think some people will get turned off by it a bit, but I think it does bring, out the craziness of all of this, that people can do this on their phones in many states now, and it just keeps growing. And I liked at the end where they're like, we take, problem gambling seriously. That's why we have fireworks and explosions and money flying all over the screen and all these ads, which is true. Like, they're like problem gambling at the end, but it's just like pumping you. Here's free money. Here's free money. You got to sign up. So it's kind of like double-edged sword there.
And they did a good job of sort of matching the tone of a lot of those ads. Very masculine energy, very young man kind of energy. And this industry has just blown up and grown, and it continues to grow, spreading everywhere all across the country. So it's funny to kind of, put a little highlight on maybe the downsides of it, which there are numerous ones, but they talk about betting on your friends' destruction and all kinds of terrible things. So take it with a grain of salt. If you have a sense of humor, you'll love it. So a quick update on Slots of Fun. Jacob was by there and he took a picture which shows that there's machines back in there. And then Dana Roselli came in and said that they had a press release talking about some of the changes that they are making as part of these renovations. I cannot find this press release anywhere, so apparently it was a private press release just for PR people, of which she is. But in the press release, according to her, it says there will be 85 iconic coin-operated slot machines, plus a journey back in time with delectable treats priced for an old-school era, including $2 beers, hot dogs, and shrimp cocktails. I think they've been listening to us.
Yes, this is everything I wanted. They even have table games in there already. Not a ton of table games, but a couple. So that's cool to see. And I wish they put the craps table out by the strip, open those doors, just like O'Shea's used to have. I think that's the one thing they're missing, but I think they knocked the rest of the stuff out. They're bringing in the coin-operated machines, so you get to hear the clank, 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 and all that stuff, which will draw people in. $2 beers and hot dogs, which you're still making money on, but you're going to bring people in. Like, I think that part of the strip is missing a fun party atmosphere type spot, and this fills that void. Everybody go there, please. Let's support it. Let's keep dive places in Vegas. So I'm definitely checking it out next time I'm in Vegas.
I'm excited and all, Mark. Admittedly, it does not look very much different than it did before. I'm just going to say that. Like, the carpet's the same. The building looks pretty much the same, slots spaced out. I don't know what they renovated quite other than lowering their prices, putting in new machines, but I'm all happy to see the place get some love. And as you said, support it. It is a neat little place.
I don't remember if there were table games in there, so maybe that's like the new addition. I don't know that you had to rip everything out just to do that, but maybe it needed a deep clean. Maybe it had been 20 years since they really scrubbed the place down. I don't know. But yeah, coin machines. I mean, there's a little bit, but it seems like they took a long time to do not a whole lot to it.
But good nonetheless. Cheap food on the strip. Let's do it. As a reminder, we now have our Patreon. We do a weekly after show. $5 a month gets you access to that. You can listen to it as a podcast, watch it as a video. Lots of laughs along the way. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So let's do a quick food roundup. We have some interesting food stories, starting with the buffet price at the Excalibur. Now, they only have a brunch buffet, so a weekday brunch, a weekend brunch, so no dinner buffet. $32 weekday now at Excalibur, $38 on the weekend. So during the week, that means that your buffet price probably more than your room rate.
Not as much as the resort fee, or maybe it is. I don't know where they're at there right now. I'm sure it'll be going up, whatever it is at. But yeah, I don't know if there's much value here, and that's kind of what you want when you're going to Excalibur, is a bit of value. And if half the buffet is breakfast stuff that's notoriously cheap to make, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like something that I would go to. I don't know that I could eat $30 of breakfast and lunch type food. Maybe they do have a good seafood option there. I don't know, but it just seems overpriced for where you're at.
Yeah, when you're talking about buffet prices, and they're all nuts compared to a few years ago, and that's just the fact of life. But why would you pay this? This is just a breakfast buffet, basically, with a few other things put in. And then people complain about Caesars or Wynn when they're $70, $80. I would rather pay that, I think, than go to Excalibur for half the price, because you're going to get, like you said, crab and better seafood and better dishes, better prepared dishes. Not a fan of Excalibur's buffet. I haven't been there in a long time, so maybe it's great and we just don't know, so people can let us know in the comments. But it's nuts to see a breakfast buffet essentially at Excalibur for $32 during the week. Those are some expensive eggs. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too long ago that would be like $16, $18, maybe $20. So I know food prices are up, all that stuff. Buffets have always been a loss leader. If the point was to get them in the door, maybe they don't need that anymore. Maybe they want to make it where it's sustainable on its own. Hey, I can't fault them for that, but I won't be spending my money on it.
So next up is Pitbull. He's bringing his restaurant to Las Vegas. There are celebrity restaurants all over the city. Now he owns Miami Grill, or he's a co-owner in that, and this is sort of like a fast food restaurant down from Florida, and it's been around a long time, but they are moving into the Las Vegas area. And the reason Mark is cracking up is because it's not on the strip. It's not even really off the strip. It's not far from my house though. It's at a Walmart in Eastern and Serene here in Las Vegas. Mark, stop laughing. This is a true story, and it just opened this last weekend.
Move over, Subway. There's a new Walmart for food. Would you want to open it? I don't know. I'm sure it will do well because there's a lot of people at Walmart. But if you're breaking into an area and you're, a celebrity and this is your celebrity dining type of thing where there's celebrity chefs all over Vegas, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to pop up in a Walmart and see how it goes.
I might have to drive over there just to get video for the show because it's open now.
Please.
But speaking of video, I did go over to Durango a couple days ago and tried out Prince Street Pizza for the first time. And that is the pizza place, very popular from the East Coast, very famous here, long lines all the time. So we did have to wait in a line, and it moved notoriously slow, but that gave us a chance to kind of look at the pizza. Finally got to try it. So I tried some of their deeper dish, kind of the pizza they're known for, and then a slice of their Neapolitan. My wife and I shared. We did a pepperoni slice and then a meat lover slice. I was a little disappointed, Mark, only because I expected this to be like top level pizza, and it was just one notch below that. So very good by all, normal metrics. The sausage on the meat lovers was divine. Pepperoni, not as good as I would expect it because I love that type of pepperoni, but still worth $6 a slice if you're in there. Definitely worth a try. Good pizza, just not at the top of Vegas pizza for me.
Yeah, how long did it take, would you say, from getting in the line to getting your pizza?
The line wasn't that long, maybe 20 people in front of me, and it took about 20 minutes. It wasn't very fast at all. And that's just to pay. So they have one cashier, and then once you pay, you wait another maybe 10 minutes I waited for my slice. So it was probably a 30-minute ordeal top to bottom. It was very slow. They need kiosks or some other way to order. That would speed things up a lot.
Yeah, that kind of is surprising because a lot of that, the pizza's out there cooked and all that type of stuff. You think it'd be a little bit faster moving, at least until they use up all that stuff. I don't know. There's got to be a better system. When you see places in New York, slinging through pizza pretty quickly, I would think that this would, be a better setup. Maybe they'll grow into it a bit. I don't know. Would you wait 30 minutes again for another slice or not really worth it?
Not really worth it. Next time I'm there, I want to try Irv's Burgers. They have these chili cheese fries that look amazing. Saw some of the burgers, so I'll probably try that out. Yeah, I don't think I would wait 30 minutes for it again. There was a controversy on Twitter because I said it's $6 plus a slice. It's a little pricey. Not pricey by a lot of pizza slice standards on the strip and stuff, but this is off strip, $6 a slice, still pricey, but not out of the realm, I guess, these days. So I wouldn't hesitate based on the price. Good stuff, just not great. Looking forward to trying Miami Slice at Fontainebleau, a couple of the other new ones that people have suggested.
Yeah, Miami Slice looks really good, and everything I've heard is that that's good. We probably should have checked it out when we were there, but we didn't have time, and I'm kind of a little bit sad. When we walked through Durango, it smelled great. The pizza looked pretty good. So, but I don't know, 30 minutes is kind of a turn off. $6 doesn't seem terrible to me. I'd be willing to pay. If there was no line, I definitely would jump in and give it a try. But if there's a line, anything like what we saw when we were there, no thanks.
So the first lounge that Cheech and Chong approve of has opened. Actually, it's the first one on non-tribal land because there was one that opened a few months ago on tribal land. My favorite part of this is that Tick Segerblom, the famous county commissioner who forgot to disclose his F1 ticket, and maybe this is why, was on hand to open it. What other city do you have like a county commissioner, a government official there for the opening of this type of place?
One that was just in the news for getting like a $10,000 ticket and not disclosing it. It's not a good look back to back. It's kind of weird. It's so Vegas. It's part of the business. You're going to go out there and support your businesses if you're part of the government.
I love how local officials, though, embrace the city. Oscar could have been so famous for all those years with booze and the showgirls and embracing the spirit of Las Vegas. I think that's exactly what he's doing here, too, kind of saying it's legal here. We rely a lot on tourism, and tourism of this type of nature has become big, and he's going to be out there sort of as the face of it. I love it because he is actually out there a lot more than all the other commissioners in interviews out in the community. So I actually like him a lot for that reason.
Yeah, I think it's always good when you see people and you get to hear their take on things. And that's you got the job. You need to be out there and share the city with people.
Plus, let's admit, this is the fun part of the job, right? All the other stuff, sitting in those county commissioner meetings, a lot more boring than this. So Westgate is back with another suite. We've talked about their Halloween suites, their Christmas suite. I think we talked about their cowboy suite. And now they have a Plaid Suite. And what I love about Westgate is they go all out with the decorations of their suites. And this is no different. If you like plaid, I guess this room is for you.
Is there a plaid fetish we're not aware of? You know, you have a carpet fetish. Maybe there is a plaid fetish. I didn't know that this was a thing. Maybe it is a thing. I think this would have been awesome wallpaper and stuff in the Christmas suite. Like they should have just put a Christmas tree and called this the Christmas tree. I don't know if all plaid really does it for me. It's a lot of red and not my favorite color. I mean, it looks cool. They went all out. If you're into plaid, I think you'll love it. But I don't know. It feels weird.
Yeah, it's more singular, I guess, as a theme compared to some of the other ones. But again, as you said, the furniture, the walls, the carpets, they really do spend some money on getting these suites fully immersed. And I love it. I hope they keep coming up with ideas. The fact that we're at plaid kind of maybe says that they're running a little low on ideas, but hopefully maybe corduroy. What would be the next sort of material that we could make a whole room out of?
I don't know. It'll just leave marks everywhere you walk and stuff. I think it'd drive me nuts.
So let's finish with this. On X, this guy, he says he's been to Vegas over 100 times, and he basically puts out what is the ultimate 3-day weekend itinerary. I think it would be fun to kind of talk about it. I think a lot of people who watch this show have opinions and have been here a ton of times, have their own thing. So it's always fun to hear an outside perspective. So let's start with the hotel he says he would stay at. No other hotel, he says, other than Wynn/Encore. I'm not going to disagree with that.
If you've been to Vegas a lot, I think you'll end up at Wynn or Encore. If you can afford it, I think that's the best option. I don't know that I'd say that's the only place you can stay or the only place I would go. I think you lose a little bit if you don't try out. That's the fun of Vegas, hopping around to different hotels, trying them all out, seeing which one you like the best. But I can't disagree with coming up with Wynn Encore as your favorite.
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference between if you've been here 100 times and this is your first time or second time and you want to be more enveloped in everything. I agree, if you want that sort of isolated resort experience with everything to do, top-end restaurants, Wynn Encore is the place to go. If you want something newer where you're going to experience the whole city, you probably don't want to be in that location, or you're not going to be hanging out at the resort nearly as much. For dining, obviously he talks about all the different great restaurants, specifically to Wynn Encore, another highlight there if you just want to stay there, but dining all over the city. I don't think a newcomer or anybody doing a 3-day weekend will be short any dining options. There's just about everything from high end to low end for any type of taste. So this one's kind of a hard subjective one, but just go eat what you want.
Yeah, I think there's option for everybody, and there's, places from all over the country. That's what's kind of cool. You can sample stuff from LA, from New York, from Miami, without ever leaving the city. So you get a little bit of everything.
So he mentioned spas and that Wynn Encore have a great spa. Lots of great spas in the city as well. One of the things I want to do someday, next time maybe when I stay at Wynn, is just to do an entire spa day at Wynn, where I'm just enjoying the spa, maybe out by the pool. I can see that as being a great, relaxing weekend, although I could do that in other cities, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. If you're driving in, you're not spending a ton of money on the flights and stuff. I don't think that would be a detraction to you, but if you're flying across country to come, I doubt you want to fly to do a spa day. There's plenty of spa-type resorts throughout the country, that like Miraval and stuff like that you could get that done without going all the way to Vegas for. So I don't know. I think it depends where you're coming from, what your goals are, how much money you have. I mean, you're going to be spending a lot of money on a spa day.
Yeah, I wonder what just the day pass is at Wynn for the spa. If you weren't doing massages, you just wanted access to everything, it's probably still a couple $100. Outdoor activities he brings up specifically, Red Rock, Lake Mead, all the things to do around here. And I think this is a big sort of thing for repeat visitors as they kind of get tired of the Strip or they get to know it a little bit better, to go beyond it. And there are some incredible outdoor activities. We talk about the snow in the winter up in Mount Charleston, Red Rock Canyon, Lake Mead, the Grand Canyon's not far away. People should absolutely get off the Strip.
Yeah, the river in Laughlin at Harrah's. There you go. Beach. Cancun in Nevada.
And, free time, he says, play a little poker, gamble a little bit. I think this is a really kind of balanced itinerary, one that I like. It does reflect the fact that he's been here 100 times. It's not an itinerary I would give to a newcomer, but I would maybe give it to a newcomer to kind of open their mind to what they could do. Because there are a lot of people who come here, I don't like Vegas, I don't like to gamble or drink, so what am I going to do? Well, you can see a lot of stuff. You can enjoy the finest entertainment, finest food, great spas, best resorts in the world, all this outdoor activity. And I think that's the point, is that there really is all of that if you're not a traditional Vegas visitor.
We didn't even mention really shows or concerts, all that type of stuff. There's entertainment. There's all these weird pop-ups for movies and, action sequences and all this stuff you don't see many other places. So I think Area 15, if you just go around a bit, there's something for everybody for sure.
My main problem with a 3-day weekend, and I don't spend 3-day weekends in Vegas, I live here, But every time I'm down there or just staying on the strip, the time flies so quickly. It's hard to do a lot of stuff because the day is just gone and you don't even know what happened.
Yeah, I even noticed that, my last trip. It just feels like you go do two or three things and all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's almost time to go home. What did I really get done? The trip we went to Laughlin, like that ate up most of the day. I didn't get to see much of the strip. It's just like you almost have to be there for a week if you really want to venture outside the strip and do other things besides gamble and drink because, after like 2 days, you snap your fingers and you're like, oh, okay, time to go home.
So let us know in the comments about your ideal 3-day weekend in Vegas. Did you miss anything? What would you add to this list? Really interested to see what everybody says. Also, let us know what you think about Cosmo's new lobby, Pitbull's new restaurant, anything else we discussed on this show. Hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll be back in a couple days with another show. If you haven't seen it yet, check out our bonus show from a couple days ago about Mark's recent Vegas trip on the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Yeah, Walmart, the new tourist spot. Let's go.